Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Colin for YouTube back with another Dark Shadows video for you guys and gals. I'm here to do the fall of the Todd family. God, there can never be a happy couple in Dark Shadows. Let me tell you, when the writers spot a happy couple, you know what? They're looking a little too happy. Let's mess up their life. That's what they do. No, I really, here's Philip Todd and here's Megan Todd, who are the owners and co-owners of the antique shop that they have. And before they become entrenched in the Leviathan, you you learn that they have a painting done by Charles Delaware Tate. I sort of initially, when I first watched this, I sort of wondered if they were going to have a connection to Patofe in some way. I mean, we've seen Patofe use normal people to work under him, and I sort of wondered if that was going to be like if Patofe was going to somehow be in another body and be the owner of the antique shop. Now, that's not the case, as we know, but with Philip and Megan Todd, they're the owners. They just happen to have the portrait because it is an antique shop, so it is this legitimate thing, which is cool to see. With Dark Shadows, you sort of, from a viewer standpoint, you do want to give some people benefit of doubt, but you can't give them too much. I did that one time. Uh, and never again, damn it. Never again. Sky Rumson. Um, but so Julia comes to the antique shop and she finds a portrait of a painting, I should say, of Charles Delaware Tate's. I want to say it's Englishman Hill is the painting. I could be wrong, but actually, there's more than one painting of Englishman Hill, and no, that's not by accident. So now, not in the antique shop, but there's at least one painting of Charles Delaware Tate's in the antique shop, and they when Julia returns, they tell her, "Hey, we don't have any more paintings," so they're very upfront with her about it. Um, here's this happy couple who are married. They're they own a nice antique shop. They're happy, and in walks Barnabas Collins. And while Philip is the foster father of the Leviathan child, Megan is the foster mother and gets to raise the Leviathan child, and so does Philip. This again, this is going to cause a lot of problems for the Todds. I mean, eventually, as they're raising, you know, the child does do a lot, as a young kid, causes David to get hurt. Um, they drive Maggie nuts. I mean, they not literally nuts, but they're pushing her to the brink of craziness and insanity. I mean, they let her hear the breathing. They're scaring her halfway to death. I mean, Michael was a sick kid, and then when Michael became Jeb, and yet here's this young couple all the while that had to raise this kid. What I find most interesting about Philip and Megan Todd, finally when they have enough, and Philip goes to kill Jeb, he just falls off Widow's Hill. Keep in mind, Megan is a vampire. I mean, so when Megan gets turned by Barnabas, when she and really a lot of this is Jeb's doing too, when he turns Barnabas into a vampire of his own volition. That's the one thing that's most interesting about the Leviathan arc. When you watch this, you notice one consistent thing about Jeb, the character of Jeb, and even prior to him becoming an adult. the character tends not to follow the exact Leviathan written rule. He doesn't seem to care for it, which is intriguing as hell. I do think that's one of the most intriguing things. This sort of feels like, and keep in mind, this is before Star Wars. This sort of felt like a character, like what Anakin Skywalker is going to go on to be in every way. Yeah, I would say the difference is that Anakin did actually give a shit about the Jedi Order at one point, but until he started murdering them. Um, so with this, now here's the thing: Jeb portrays the Leviathan, so Barnabas convinces him. But you got to keep in mind, a lot of damage has been done, especially with the Todds. When Philip Todd does try to kill Jeb Hawks, here's the thing: it's Philip Todd that goes off Widow's Hill, not Jeb right away. But that's going to come later, actually, which is interesting. It sort of made you wonder: was that always the way that they were going to kill Jeb off? Because that is how Jeb ends up getting killed off. Sorry, but not by Philip Todd, but by the Bruno or whatever you want to call him. So here's you have Philip Todd who's dead. Megan Todd is a vampire. Their shop gets burnt to the ground by Barnabas. There's no more antique shop. In many ways, the symbol of the antique shop sort of does begin to, start the downward spiral of Leviathans, because it did to me. It slowly but surely after that, you're starting to see a different Jeb Hawks. He doesn't want to go into the new room anymore. So the burning of the antique shop does sort of seem to, again, cause the downward spiral of the Leviathans. And it's interesting. I mean, the antique shop always didn't have the breathing in the room, but it does occur once the kid shows up. So, but again, after that shop burns down, it's really weird because you slowly but surely start seeing a different Jeb Hawks. And you could say, well, it's because of Carolyn. I wouldn't disagree with that, but I sort of wonder how much impact losing the antique shop had on Jeb. I mean, think about something before the Leviathans hand them, the care of a kid. Well, all that kid knew was that room. I mean, he went up to Collinwood, sure, but he would always be in the room. Eventually, is Philip and Megan Todd the saddest couple story? I gotta say, yeah, yeah. And here's why too. What's the one thing Philip and Megan really wanted most of all? They were already married. They wanted a kid. And it's interesting because Dark Shadows plugs at a heartstring that they never plucked at before. The responsibility of a child on people who want a child, on two people who actually wanted to be a mother and father. They get a chance to be a mother and father, but not to a good kid, not to to an entity really. And again, it just does not end well for them, which is sad. I mean, were they bad people? They were. They did some questionable things under the Leviathans for sure. Philip pushes an investigator into the room and leaves him the Jeb. I do think that because there's no what was I going to say? There's no escape for Philip and Megan really, and that's something you do see as a recurring theme with DS. There's just no escaping certain inevitables. Like, okay, for example, in 1795, there was no escape. Josette, there was no escaping her jumping off Widow's Hill. Well, once the Todds are fully invested into the Leviathans, once they're knee deep, they have a kid. This is what they wanted, a kid to raise of their own. They get that, but unfortunately, it comes with a lot of other things. It does come with responsibility, but a different kind of responsibility. You're raising the new leader of the world here. This is very Omen before Omen. A really two really great characters. First of all, before I wrap this up, were their deaths deserved? I mean, if you're gonna get into that question though too, you can't just look at what the characters did prior. You got to look at what they did as antagonists a bit. I don't think they deserve that kind of death, but I do think maybe Philip Todd should have just stayed in jail and said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm here. I'm staying here. Why not?" Or sorry, when again, to me, Megan becoming a vampire, Megan not being interested in anything else after losing Philip, losing the antique shop. I mean, she had lost everything else. She had, to her, life did not matter. What was life to her? Like everything she wanted was destroyed. Her husband, her shop. They were handed a kid, and that went so far sideways it wasn't even funny. And really, not because of them. I think it's easy to point the finger at Philip and Megan, but you really got to point at how far not just Michael went, but Jeb went off the rails on his own. And it was, again, great acting by all three actors, or two actors and one actress. But they just, I don't want to say they were the unluckiest characters in Dark Shadows, but they're pretty close. They pretty close. I mean, they were happy one minute, and then Barnabas walked into their antique shop, and the rest was history. Oh my god! Wait, does that mean we can blame Barnabas for all this? Nah, he gets enough heat. All right, guys. I hope you enjoy this video. Let me know what your thoughts are of Philip and Megan Todd. I mean, really, a sad, tragic tale in every way. I mean, yeah, they did some very questionable things under the Leviathan, but again, though, too, when you're getting an opportunity to raise a kid, they wanted a kid. I mean, it was, how do you say no to that for them? Like, put in their shoes, that's the one thing they wanted most was a kid. I mean, they really did. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great day.